What's up, guys? Today, I've got to talk about IGN. Now, look, time and time again, they drop these game reviews, and honestly, it feels like the reviewer has zero clue what they're talking about. Like, I really don't understand if they actually play games or not. Don't get me wrong, IGN is huge in the gaming space, and I'm sure their name carries credibility, but everybody in the community knows most of the time it's just some journalist pointing out the most obvious, basic features like they're dropping mega wisdom. Anyways, I'm SpicyChalk. Let's break down IGN's Battlefield 6 campaign preview, and trust me, I've got my thoughts.
Battlefield has always been defined by scale. Sprawling maps, crumbling buildings, and squads working in sync to turn the tide of war. With Battlefield 6, Battlefield Studios is aiming to bring that same sense of chaos and unpredictability into the single-player campaign.
Alright, solid intro. I'm thinking, okay, maybe this will be good. Maybe IGN's actually gonna do something here. Look, let's just keep watching.
After going hands-on with several missions, it's clear that this isn't just a throwaway side mode. It's a confident, varied experience that constantly shifts objectives, introduces new tools, and keeps the action fresh. From storming beaches under fire to chasing trains through collapsing tunnels, every level I played delivered a new surprise and kept me constantly excited for what I would experience next.
We've got incoming! Friendly on intercept!
The campaign drops you into the year 2027 as part of Dagger 1-3, an elite squad of US Marines. If you've played the recent multiplayer beta, or any Battlefield before, you'll immediately recognize the squad archetypes. Carter fills the assault role, Murphy handles engineering duties, Gecko manages recon, and Lopez rounds out the team as support. Curiously, Lopez isn't playable in the campaign, and Battlefield Studios declined to elaborate when asked why. Whether it's a design choice or a story reveal saved for later, time will tell.
Hey, Lo. You good?
What makes the campaign stand out so far is how it blends traditional FPS action with light squad management. Each mission hands you a different Marine, but you're rarely operating alone. You can call on your squad mates mid-fight to use their specialized abilities, with Gecko tagging targets, Murphy blowing up defenses, and Lopez keeping everyone supplied and revived. It's not the deepest tactical system, but it makes your squad feel integral to success, and it adds a dynamic layer that's genuinely...
So he brings up the squad feature. Now, I actually like this. Battlefield making this move is pretty cool for the player to make it a little bit more engaging for the story. But my problem is that the reviewer barely even uses this feature in his footage. I can really only count a couple times that he actually does. And he only brushes over what the characters actually do. Like, at least show us why it matters, dude. Like, come on.
It's genuinely fun. The small touches sell the squad dynamic even further. Take out an enemy gunner, and your Marine calls out, MG down!
MG down!
Drop an engineer, and suddenly you know that their SAM launcher is no longer a threat.
Goes down! Charlie 5, toes are down!
These callouts double as gameplay feedback, helping you adjust tactics mid-fight. Even in single-player, the firefights carry the tension and layered pacing of multiplayer matches, with squads clashing and roles countering one another. It's exactly the kind of squad-driven storytelling Battlefield fans have long hoped for.
And then he goes out of his way to mention that characters make callouts when they kill enemies or spot SAM launchers. Like, what? What are you talking about? That's not new. That's been in shooters for years. I don't need IGN telling me that NPCs can talk to me while I'm playing the game.
Then we blow the dam, take out all the SAMs.
You can't be serious. Murph?
During my hands-on, I had access to 3 missions scattered across the campaign, and it was immediately obvious why these were chosen.
Understood.
Each mission felt completely different, with objectives that constantly changed the pace and approach. These 3 levels honestly felt closer to 9, and I had to remind myself partway through missions that I was still on that same level. The first one I played was Operation Gladius, the 3rd stage in the story. It opens with an iconic wargame spectacle, storming enemy beaches inside an armored vehicle. From the moment it began, I was floored by the presentation. Mud and smoke obscured my vision while explosions rocked the shoreline.
So I get that he has to talk about the scenery of this scene because it really is pretty good. I really think that this is probably going to be one of my favorite missions in the campaign once I play through it. But like everything else, it doesn't need to be said out loud. I can tell, I can see when I'm watching this gameplay video, it looks like a spectacle. I don't need him to keep reiterating how great it looks by all these details.
The waves sent our floating tanks rocking back and forth, while a hazy, smoke-filled sky gave me a preview of the battle that I was heading into. As the gunner, I was tasked with taking out bunkers and enemy troops, and what could have been a straightforward turret section became a tense scramble to see through debris and support my squad. Once the tanks landed, I, playing as Murphy the engineer, began escorting a tank through a war-torn town towards City Hall. This section leaned into classic Battlefield gameplay. Waves of enemies, constant destruction, all while keeping the tank operational, while Lopez resupplied and revived me. Gecko tagged threats from a distance, and Carter and I pushed the front line while entire buildings, balconies, and trees collapsed around us. For stretches, it felt like playing multiplayer, condensed into an intense single-player package.
There's actually no way that this part in the campaign felt like multiplayer. Yeah, I think that this map was probably in the beta or one of the playtests, but even then, the AI aren't smart enough to resemble real-life players, so whatever he's talking about, he clearly has no idea what he just said.
The town itself kept me on my toes. Enemies poured out of alleys, rooftops, and damaged buildings, but the destruction turned unpredictability into opportunity. Snipers hiding behind cover could be flushed out with grenades or RPGs, and alternate flanking routes allowed me to approach firefights in multiple ways. The level design rewards thinking like a Battlefield player. If an enemy can occupy a space, then so can you.
And then he says, thinking like a Battlefield player? What does that even mean? You mean flanking the enemy? That's not Battlefield exclusive. That's basic war tactics. If I flank someone in Call of Duty, am I suddenly a Battlefield player? Nah, man, I'm just smart enough to not run straight at the bullets.
Sniper eliminated!
The mission culminated in a massive push on City Hall, reminiscent of defending a hard-won capture point in multiplayer. My squad and I held the line against relentless waves while clearing buildings and mopping up remaining enemies. The chaos of the finale mirrored the opening sequence, sense that the campaign isn't afraid to keep objectives moving, destruction constant, and action relentless. The other missions I got to play further reinforced this variety. Mission 5 began with a tense apartment sweep, clearing floors with my squad while using a sledgehammer to break down walls. The shootouts were intense and had me checking my corners diligently as my thermal scope helped me spot the pesky packs in the dimly lit apartment building. This section ended with a shootout between the apartment buildings. A bit of a shooting gallery moment as I waited for enemies to pop up so I could take them down, but still enjoyable nonetheless. Going underground, the squad and I continued to pick off enemies in smoke and dirt-filled tunnels. Luckily, my thermal-scoped rifle was still in my hands, or this mission would have been a lot tougher.
I like how he tries to frame that bit that we just watched with the thermal scope a bit boring. Honestly, all it is EA just showing off the thermal scope in this city environment. It's not boring at all, it's really just flexing the tech that they put into the game. I mean, it's nothing new, nothing revolutionary, but it's still cool to see. And whenever people have problems with shooting galleries and scopes and niche little picks like that, come on, don't put that in the rating.
The mission then pivoted hard into a high-speed car chase through subway tunnels. While one of the more scripted moments in my entire preview, it was still fun to live through the spectacle, even if it felt like I didn't have much control over what was happening.
Then he mentions the scripted sequence with the car. Like, come on, every single campaign has a scripted part to it. Just because it's not open world, it doesn't make it bad and you can't just ride the car wherever you want in those tunnels. Like, come on.
After a short jaunt through a construction site, the mission reaches its big explosive moment by blowing up New York's Brooklyn Bridge.
Alright, just on like a personal note, I actually really love that they're using the Brooklyn Bridge as a major war setting. Partially because I'm American, Partially because any battle on a bridge is just super sick to me.
Bridge then becomes the final stretch of the mission, as I was then tasked to make my way through the rubble to disable some transmitters. While completely in shambles, I never found myself lost as I made my way through the bridge, and instead got to take in a Levolution moment in a single-player campaign.
But then this guy says he never felt lost. Bro, it's a bridge. Where else are you gonna go?
Again, I know it's a scripted set piece, but blasting my way through the ruins still felt like an organic way to push the intense moments of the story further. Overall, the 5th mission once again proved that Battlefield Studios is looking to up the ante every moment that they can.
Gecko, you got point. Let's go bust up Patch's party.
Mission 8 was easily my favorite. Instead of tight corridors, it opened into a semi-open map that gave me room to experiment. Playing as Gecko, the recon, I had a bomb-dropping drone and a vehicle I could hop in and out of at will. Jumping into a Jeep with my squad beside me immediately brought back Halo vibes, marking the first mission I played that genuinely felt like I could set my own pace. The initial objective was to take out a few SAM sites, and from what I could tell, it seemed like I could approach them in any order, though my limited playtime didn't let me fully test that freedom.
SAM is no longer operational.
The sense of choice made the mission really enjoyable. I wasn't funneled into predetermined vantage points, so it was up to me to drive around and find good positions for my squad to post up and take down enemies.
Tango above is down!
The drone added a whole new layer of strategy. I could get a bird's eye view of the battlefield to scout and mark enemies, then rain bombs down until the enemy spotted and destroyed my drone, which would trigger a brief cooldown before I could deploy it again.
Drone is down.
The objectives escalated quickly, moving from taking out SAM sites to guiding rockets with the Switchblade system against waves of enemies. Honestly, this part was awesome. I'll take more Switchblade missions, please. Firing missiles from a first-person perspective to take down helicopters and tanks was incredibly satisfying, and it honestly makes me want a minigame of just that mechanic.
And I believe his favorite part of the whole entire preview was operating a missile to one-shot vehicles. Are you kidding me? You literally just played through a driving mission, a door-to-door city combat mission, and a blown-up bridge firefight, and your highlight is pushing a button to blow stuff up. Come on, man.
The mission wrapped up with a climactic firefight across a dam, the drone continuing to add another chaotic layer while letting me choose how to approach combat. There's even a Battlefield version of a boss encounter, where an enemy helicopter circles the dam and needs to be taken down. This mission isn't quite explosively over the top as the others, but the freedom it offers makes it stand out and still includes some epic set pieces that are genuinely fun to experience.
We got tanks on either side of the dam!
After playing these 3 missions, it's clear that Battlefield 6's campaign isn't just filler. Battlefield Studios is taking what makes multiplayer memorable, destruction, unpredictable firefights, and meaningful squad dynamics, and trying to translate it into single-player form. And so far, they seem to be right on target.
RPG down!
Whether I was storming beaches, chasing trains, or raining fire from a drone, the campaign consistently kept me on my toes and surprised me with new objectives and moments of spectacle. If the full release keeps this momentum, Battlefield 6 could finally deliver a single-player experience worthy of the series' scale and intensity, something we arguably haven't had since the Bad Company days.
At this point, I'm convinced he's never played a Battlefield past Bad Company. I'm pretty sure almost all the Battlefields that have come out after that have had really good cinematic pieces and a decent storyline, besides Battlefield 2042.
For more on Battlefield 6, don't miss our recent hands-on look at the return of Operation Firestorm from Battlefield 3, as well as our overall multiplayer preview. And for everything else in the world of video games, keep it locked to IGN.
So yeah, IGN's preview just felt like another surface-level checklist of obvious features with barely any actual gameplay insight. I could be wrong, but as a Battlefield fan, I want to know how it feels and how it plays, what's new and what kind of stands out. Not that characters make call-outs or that the smoke exists on my screen. Anyway, that's my rant. I'm SpicyChalk. Let me know what you thought of IGN's preview in the comments. Was it as empty as I thought, or am I just expecting too much from game journalists? And hey, If you like this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and I'll catch you in the next one.